Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, I hope you're having a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. My name is Teresa and I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare, so on the weekends I like to hang out with you guys and talk about the newest releases in that realm. But as you guys know, there's a hell of a lot to look at there. And let's be real, we don't want to be sitting here talking about all of the nonsense. So to filter out that and just talk about the stuff that you guys find interesting, you guys DM me, let me know what to include. So a massive thank you to everyone who has tagged me, DM'd me, etc. Your names are being displayed right now. I so appreciate it. You're so wonderful, etc, etc. A massive thank you as always to my YouTube community members. You're brilliant. I will also say sorry for posting releases and rants late last week, although it's not even a proper apology because it was all stuff out of my grasp. Unless I am suddenly Storm from X-Men, I cannot control the weather. But there you go. But anyways, my friends, there's quite a few things to talk about. You know the general drill. Grab yourself a little beverage. I've got my tea. And look, I have a little mug that has elephants on it. Ooh, look at the ring light in there. It makes it look like it's an egg, but it's not. It's not actually an egg. But anyways, friends, let's just get straight into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is actually something that was shared over on Isamaya French's page, and massive thank you to Jillian who actually sent this on to me. In her Instagram story, she just said, it really is about to go off. Last chance to buy Industrial Wildstar and lips before it's archived. And she's kind of known for doing that, where she's had stuff and even though it's been wildly popular, that's right Isamaya, I'm looking at you and your Industrial 1 palette because I really want that and I never got it and now I have FOMO and I can't get it. So don't have FOMO. If you've looked at any of those things and you've thought, oh, I really want them, now's the time. Now's the time to get them. And some of them you can get like a little bit of a discount on. If you use the code archive, you'll get a bit of money off of it. But this is all coming out because she has something launching sometime next week. Big question mark as to what it is. So I'm just letting you know now, if you do want to get something, time's a waste and get on to it, my friends. But we'll get into the proper releases. We have SHEGLAM who have collaborated with Hello Kitty. Now this is a sort of limited release in the sense that it isn't available in every territory just due to licensing issues. It's a small enough collection. There's the Darling Dear Shadow Stack and it comes in two styles, Sweetheart and Sugar Cookie. They're €5.30 each. There's the True Love Multi-Use Balm that comes in 4 shades. Whiskers Paw Print Purty and Cuddlebug, that's €7.71 each. The Be My Baby Hydrating Lipstick that comes in the shades Smitten Kitten, Just a Crush and Love Letter, €5.78 each. And then the rest is actually kind of, it feels like filler items. There's the 3D Kiss Lip Balm for €7.71. Personally, I don't think they needed that when they had both a multi-use balm and a lipstick. They have the Jelly Amore Hydrating Primer for €7.71. The Cupid Cutie Powder Puff for €4.33. But if you like the entire collection, you can get it for €77.24. This is obviously going to be quite popular because Hello Kitty is a very beloved franchise and I think they played it pretty safe. Like, it doesn't look too bad. Let's talk about those little eyeshadow palettes first. It's funny to call them palettes because they're more like those little stacking things, and we've seen that before. This isn't the first time that you've seen something like this. Kaja Beauty would have used these sort of stackums before. Morphe too also did something similar, but this is a kind of a trend that you see a lot in K-beauty, etc., which is obviously where Hello Kitty tends to be extremely popular. So I kind of get why they did that. The first palette here, it's nice. It's very, very safe. Can I be 100% real? I personally would not use this as an eyeshadow, right? It's grand, but do you know what I think it looks better as? A blush and highlight. I think it's so much prettier. Like, if you look at that, doesn't it transform it and you kind of go, you know what? Yeah, I can see those two shades as blushes kind of ombreing into each other, and that kind of like blushy highlight. Hells yes, that would be fabulous. I feel like it's not quite enough to make an eye look out of, but maybe that's just me. And even the more kind of fair one as well, that I think would be harder to make into a sort of blush thing. I'm really trying to find some ways that it would look kind of okay. Can I also just say it looks quite different on the deeper skin tone? Like, it pulls a lot more purple, so that's quite interesting. I'm wondering how true that is. I have a lot of trust issues with swatches these days and kind of going, are they computer generated? What's actually happening here? I don't know. Like, it's not wildly expensive, but if it did lean more like purpley, I'd kind of be a bit more interested in it. But I just know I'd get this and be like, oh, it looks so cute, and then just forget that I have it. So it makes absolutely absolutely no difference to me. And can I also just say they've included a mirror in that, which by the way, it's so tiny and functionally I don't know how you'd use that, because you know, you're having to flip things around. It feels a little bit of an unnecessary addition. Like I can't see people necessarily using that. Or maybe, although maybe they will, who knows. The little balms, so obviously you can use them for your lips, I think people are saying for the eyes. I personally wouldn't use that on the eyes, but hey, there you go. And obviously for the cheeks, they're very safe. Like they're fine. The packaging, super, super cute. I feel like those two red shades are probably a little bit too close to each other to really get much from it. Like it's fine. I was really struggling even to find any pictures of what they look like that doesn't have like any watermark on it, because they drive me nuts. I can't look at pictures that have so many watermarks on it. It's just one of those things. I don't know why they're trying to say that Whiskers is a multi-use balm, because like it's transparent. It seems a bit unnecessary. Like it's fine. It's fine. Again, it kind of looks a little bit different on the deeper skin tone, so maybe it is just pulling on specific undertones, in which case fair enough. I just again have a lot of trust issues on these particular things. Their imagery, you know, their photography on it, very, very cute, because that is the whole thing around Hello Kitty. It's just cutesy stuff. The kind of lipsticks, they're fine. I do like the packaging. It does look quite cutesy, but did you need to have two reds? And that's from somebody who is like ridiculous. And also like that Smitten kitten shade, there isn't a lot to it. Did you need to have that and the Whiskers shade in the multi-use balm and another balm? Like it's kind of like, edit yourself. This is too much stuff. They could have just done the two lipstick of Just a Crush and Love Letter. Like that's quite pretty. They're nothing really to talk about. Like I don't think they're wildly interesting. They do kind of fit in more with kind of the kawaii kind of culture, which is, you know, fair enough. Then the extra bits that they have. Do you see why I'm kind of saying like, why the hell do they bother having this 3D lip balm when they have those multi-use lip balms and also lipsticks? Like what are they doing? That was wildly unnecessary. Just pick things. Don't have a million things in one go. It's unnecessary. The primer, yeah, it looks grand. In terms of like the little velvety powder puff, it's fine. Like I've seen this a million times before. Like literally brands like Spectrum Cosmetics have done things like this before. All in all, it's fine. I think they spent a lot more time on the packaging than on the products themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like even with the eyeshadow palettes, I feel like the thing that people would talk about is the fact that they have that little stackable kind of a quality like Kaja Beauty, etc. But the actual shades, they're so safe. They're so like done. And I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more fun from them. I really think that they should have been maybe put forward as like a blush trio or something. They didn't need to do eyeshadow. I don't know, maybe even they're coming out with a mascara at the same time, but it has nothing to do with this collection. And I feel like a mascara would have almost made a little bit more sense. It's just very strange. Having so many lip products, like different types of lip products in one go, just seems a bit unnecessary to me. Like I like Hello Kitty. I'm not like a massive like, oh my god, I must buy anything, but I do like see Hello Kitty and go, oh, that's cute. Like I don't feel the urge to go and collect them. And I get that there's quite a few people that do. So in that sense, it probably is a good one because it's not like wildly expensive. You're not going to break the bank. You probably could get all of these things. And generally SHEGLAM stuff isn't the worst quality. So it's not bad. I just feel like they spent so much time on that packaging and didn't think about what to put into the packaging that they just kind of went, heh. Like I'm bored. I don't know what else to say about it. Like that's the nicest thing I can say about it. I'm indifferent. Yeah, that's what we'll say. We'll land on indifferent, but it could have been done so much better. Like why not do like a full red palette or something like that? Anyways, I don't care. That's enough. Let's move on to something else. So last week I had sneak peeked the Cosmic Beauty palette, the Lovers palette, and as you're watching, it's already released. It was available for £26. Hopefully you used a code because you're not a silly goose and you got some money off. The code that I will be using is TIA10 for 10% off. That came out on Friday the 31st of January, 6 p.m. UK time. It's a 20 pan colour palette. There's 12 mattes, 8 shimmery metallics. Of those metallics, one is a super shifty multi-chrome and there are 2 duochrome. duochrome. I don't know how they do it at that price. It's questionable. Can I also just say vindication, because I said that I thought that the palette, because when I was literally filming last week, I had only seen the outside of the palette. I hadn't even seen the sneak peek of the inside of the palette. I know I included that in the edit, but that was after the filming, because that's how editing works. Can I just say vindication, because I thought that this was what it was going to be, and I am delighted with myself. I love that this basically has kind of like 4 mini palettes in one, and they're each 5-pan palettes, right? We have 5 pans of pinky kind of purpley shimmers and mattes. Then we have down in the bottom left hand side, there is a 5 pan of neutrals. Then in the bottom right, a 5 pan of some blues, and then at the top right, a 5 pan of green. Now I think this is really, really pretty, but Wilma said this, and I am inclined to agree, that this is kind of this giving off the same vibes as the Robert Welsh collaboration with Blend Bunny, which was the Divination collection. Now I think that's personally a brilliant thing to say, because that was such a successful palette, but I totally get where Wilma's coming from, because it's kind of giving that same level of tone. Like, it's not gonna like punch you in the face with color, and Wilma uses the phrase of daywalker, and this is kind of what this is. Like, this is not drag queen makeup. You probably could if you're, I don't know, really going for it, but a lot of these tones are very muted, very soft, very delicate, which actually makes sense considering it's Valentine's, you know? I think it's absolutely stunning. Can I also just talk about the swatches? Because my stupid little heart, when I saw the swatches that they had put over on their Instagram, and they made this whole thing about like, oh, you know, like love and blah blah blah, and they clearly showed like diversity, inclusivity, etc. And in today's world, ain't that nice to see? And as per usual, those bloody swatches, like, find me a shade in there that I don't like. It ain't gonna happen. I really like all of them. Like I said, it's like 4 little 5-pan palettes in one. I love that she's kept the same like shape and size of the palette. That pleases me. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any notes on this other than, why do I not have it right now? Give it to me. Seriously, like, it is absolutely stunning. Their quality is always really, really good. Yeah, I mean, no notes really. £26 for that. Yeah, yeah, that's as much as I can say, really. I mean, I'm honest to God so excited about it. I have put aside money for this, knowing that I am going to get it. I'm like, oh, this is happening. If anything else occurs, I don't care, but this is going into my basket. They're just one of those brands I get very excited about, probably in my top 5 indie brands. And considering they're a European brand, isn't that fantastic that we have something that is that solid on our doorstep? I'm loving it. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait to see what else they come out with. Just, it's always fun, you know? Maybe leave it a while, just because I don't think I can deal with that level of excitement in my life. I need a little bit of like, just an even keel of stuff to not get overly excited about, you know, just for the blood pressure is all I'm saying, you know? And do you know what? I find this really interesting. This is the Beauty Bay Daydreamer palette. It's going to be limited edition. It's already available right now. It's €20 and it's a 20-pan palette. Part of why I find this so interesting is that when you juxtapose that against the Cosmic Brushes palette, it kind of feels like they're somewhat related. I will say though, I personally feel that the Cosmic Brushes palette is way sexier. Like, this is kind of like, oh, it's fine. In saying that though, Beauty Bay, and let's be real, take the worst pictures of their own products. They do not sell them well. Remember what happened with that gorgeous little 9-pan shimmer palette and how beautiful that actually was in person and how shit it looked online. And the thing is, a lot of people will go off and buy it and be like, well, you know, it'll be nice when you have it, because their quality is genuinely pretty darn good. I actually ended up picking it up. It leaked on their site the day beforehand, and I really like gussied on over to YouTube and I was like, quickly, let's talk about this. Alert the press, my friends. I felt pretty darn happy with myself for getting there so quickly. Part of what I'm excited about is the fact that there's 2 duochromes. We don't see that often with Beauty Bay, and I've been saying this for ages, that that's probably what they need to start doing to really get back in. Because I've seen people kind of saying, Beauty Bay aren't really interesting me as much anymore. And you know what? I get it, because they've gotten to the point where they've kind of done all the colour stories. And unless you're trying out new formulas, I mean, what's the point? You know, you're kind of duping your collection at that point. And I think, as I've said before, people are getting savvier. They don't want to be spending their money on stuff that they don't actually need. They're trying to make very informed decisions. So, you know, I think it's good that they've gone into some duochromes and kept it quite affordable, like it's €20. The other thing, and I'm going to agree with this as well, is that in these pictures, some of those shades look very, very similar. However, again, it can have so much to do with lighting. And I will always remember the time that I was giving feedback on the Man-Eater palette to Rooks in Artitude Cosmetics, that there were two shades in that palette that looked so similar on me that I was like, I don't feel like you need it. And we were on camera, like we were zooming, and she swatched the two shades on herself and the two shades look so different. So I'm wondering how much of this may actually look quite different based upon your undertone. So I'm quite interested. I don't understand why they only gave swatches of 12 of the shadows, not the 20. Like, that's so strange to me. Like, why would you do that? It's not a very colourful palette, let's be 100% real. Like, in the £20 palette, we're only looking at really one kind of matte purple, one lilac matte purple, one kind of blue toned purpley shimmer, quite a vibrant pop of pink, a sort of a green, and the rest are kind of quite neutral tones. So that's 5 out of 20 are those pops of colour. The rest of it are much more kind of safe neutral tones. And I think that's what's kind of miffed people a little bit. It's not as fun as we would have associated with Beauty Bay in the past. Obviously, we know that the quality is going to be quite good. And they've shown like some of the colour combinations even on their site, you know, of the purples and the pinks, etc. And it does look nice. But I feel, I'm going to say something contentious. I feel like Beauty Bay have somewhat lost their touch. And I know that they're trying to, well, I don't know, but I suspect that they're trying to use that campaigning of like leaking things, and silly fools like me participate in that and go, oh, it's up on the site, I'll talk about it because I'll get views, etc. But I feel like their marketing isn't really working in the way that it once did. People aren't kind of flocking to them in the way that they once did. And it's partly, I did see a comment the other day and I was like, oh, you know how these kids now, they're like, no shadow, eyeshadow. And I'm like, well, I don't understand that. Let us just be the real cockatoos that we are. Like, put shimmers and colours all over ourselves. But that is actually a trend. Like, you can see that. The young things like very bare minimum eyeshadow. Nothing wrong with that. But I think that's also feeding into Beauty Bay now, because they're trying to get that specific demographic, you know. And like, I get that from a marketing point of view, but it's a bit frustrating for some of the OGs that we're like, I do feel like this is one of those ones that it's going to look so much better in person. I feel that in my bones, because I felt that a couple of times with some of their palettes in the past that I've seen it online and been like, fuck it, I'll get it because I'm a completionist. Don't even talk to me about that issue with myself. And then I've got it and been like, yeah, I'm quite happy that I've got it. But yeah, it's just a funny one. I feel like people just aren't as in love with Beauty Bay as they once were. Attitudes towards makeup always kind of goes through this kind of strange cycle of loving it, being totally obsessed with it, and then just being like, ugh, no. Because I know I've definitely gone through those phases of just being like, no, I'm bored with everything. Everything annoys me. I have major fatigue. And sometimes I feel like even the industry itself engages in that level of fatigue. So I get it now. I did pick this up. Beware, probably a swatching Sunday will come at some point in the not so distant future. They do tend to take a while to ship from the UK to Ireland, even though we're right next door. But sure, look, it's very much a first world problem. I'm not going to get too miffed about it. Then the next thing that we have is Singe Beauty, and this is their newest launch. They started their brand with brushes. Now we have some extra brushes. This is the expansion brush set with 5 all new brushes to elevate your makeup game. It's launching on January the 31st, noon CST. So as I'm filming, I don't have anything really other than that because I film on Thursday, the 30th of January. The full set will be available at the discount discounted price of $55, but you can buy them singularly, you know, obviously for a slightly higher price than if you bundle them all together. I think these are really, really nice. I've heard a lot of really good things about Singe Beauty. I just haven't bit the bullet on it yet. Do I like every single one of these brushes? No, there's some more than others that I'm interested in. Like the F08, I like that one. That looks like a really nice kind of blending brush, like really good at getting the edges. Look, if you know me in any way at all, you know that I'm looking at that E10. That's nice. There's something about those shapes. I'm very consistent in what I like, but I think probably the one that I am the most interested in is the E11. Look at how little that is. I love a little brush. That looks like you're going to get some really nice accurate bits of blending in there. And that's not me saying that I don't like the E09 and the E12. They're fine, but if, you know, you put a gun to my head and said which ones do you like the most, you know, it'd be the E08, the E10 and the E11. I think that they're the nicest. I've heard very good things about Singe Beauty. I haven't actually picked up anything in terms of their brushes, etc. Not from not wanting them, but just from me trying to be a better person and not go off and buy things unnecessarily, because I don't even want to tell you how many brushes I have in front of me. Like, I'm sure it's a new carnival game. Just show all of the pots of brushes that I have. And would I get rid of any of them? No, I love them all so much. And the worst thing is I'd probably go off and get more, but I'm trying to not do that. So that's why I've kind of avoided Singe Beauty so far, because I worry that if that's a new brand that I'll fall in love with, I'll just end up, you know, doing that completionist cycle. But I think it's really nice. I like the handles. I think it looks really nice, really luxe. She seems to keep the prices down pretty well. Like $55 for 5 brushes, it's not the worst. That's actually quite competitive when you're looking at it. So yeah, I quite like that. I think it's very, very pretty. I talked about Dieverune Cosmetics last week in that we had some sneak peeks of their Valentine's Day collection, but now we have some extra things. So I'm obviously not going to repeat the stuff that we talked about last week, because who wants to be doing that? But they've shown the palette and they've shown some kitty chromes. So let's discuss them. The Smitten palette is $59. There's 6 mattes, there's 6 chromes, and it's magnetic. So you can take them out, you can rearrange them, do whatever you want, mess around. Do you know what I love? $1 from each palette sold is going to be donated to the spay and neuter clinic that Monica's sister, the owner of Dieverune, worked at. And by the way, the whole brand was inspired by her sister, so I think that's really nice. And the donation will be made in her sister's name, which is just like, oh, stop, my stupid heart. So the palette, $59. It looks really pretty. It's kind of the standard thing that I would expect in terms of a Valentine's Day palette at this time of year. And then there's the kitty chrome. So there's 4 different shades, but they vary in terms of their pricing. So there's Bitten, and that is a light pink peach gold lime, and that's $14. There's Smitten, a fuchsia peach duochrome, that's $10. And those 2 shades have a very smooth texture. I love that she's actually like said that. You can tell she's really into makeup because she's giving you that level of information. There's Stray Cat, a lavender peach pink lime teal. She said now that this one is slightly emollient. It is a little bit flaky, but it does smooth out easily, so you do have to kind of do a little bit of working on that. That's $14. And then there's Alley Cat. That's a deep indigo purple base with a shimmer that shifts lavender, pink, peach, gold and lime. This is slightly thicker but not as emollient, and that's $14. The kitty chromes will be in a magnetic compact and can be removed. Apparently they say that they're going to have them included in the whole collection bundle as well as a bundle of all 4. I don't have information as to exactly what the story is there at the moment, but let's have a little chat about that eyeshadow palette. Have to say Ellie Star Makeup did some beautiful swatches on that, and I love that she kind of broke it up in terms of like the duochromes one side and the mattes the other side, and then kind of interspersed them. It looks very, very pretty. This is very different from anything that they've done before. I can kind of see, you know, the inspiration of like a Valentine's Day thing, but I love that she's made it about cats. I'm still absolutely salty that she's not sending us cats with the palette. Like, I'm not going to buy a palette unless I can get a cat. That's going to be my new rule. That would be a terrible rule. It looks so beautiful. You can really see gorgeously pigmented. By the way, there's that like purpley grey shade in there that I'm a little bit obsessed with. I just think that is stunning. That mix of that vibrant pop of pink and then the really dusty tone of the purple and the grey. Ooh, that makes for something absolutely stunning. Like $59, yes, it is expensive, but I like that it is magnetic. Like personally, I like things like that. I think it's much easier for people who want to do their whole build your own palettes and really explore their collection. And for a lot of people, having that magnetic component allows them to really kind of go through their collection and make sure they're using it to its fullest capability. And again, even like I said, the way that Ellie Star actually swatched these shows you even how the shimmers, like those duochromes, actually map onto the mattes that are next to them. I just really like the way that she's kind of showcased that off, that you don't have to be very rigid with the way that you're looking at it. I really like this. Personally, I'm again just trying to be a little bit more stable, because I mean, right, talk about all the stuff that I've talked about so far. Cosmic Brush is absolutely getting that, got the Beauty Bay. I can't be getting any more than that. Like, that's ridiculous. But definitely I think that is very, very pretty. Then in terms of the kitty chromes, they look so pretty. I feel like I probably wouldn't get enough wear out of them. That's my only issue, is that I kind of forget when I have singles. Unless it's in a palette, I have a tendency to forget, but they are removable, so you could put them into like a Z palette, which I think is very, very smart. This is again how you can tell that this is a brand made by somebody who is obsessed with makeup. Can I talk about that shade Stray Cat? When you see it on the fingers, can you imagine how beautiful that would be? Just a black smoked out, maybe that kind of dusty toned purple smoked out over the black, and then just dab that on the corner of the eye, like the inner corner, and then have a little bit of Alley Cat smoked out towards the outside. Oh my god, like I love the look of that. It's done so well, and I feel like the prices of those aren't too bad, like $10 to $14. It's not the worst. I mean, let's be real, we've seen higher prices before. Like, I'm old, I've been in the YouTube realm for quite some time looking at indie makeup, and I've seen much higher prices for less. So yeah, I think this is absolutely stunning. The fact that it's kind of cat themed, how dare she? That's like my absolute kryptonite, but I'm going to try to be strong. I absolutely love cats, like to a frightening degree. And I love just the whole thing around this, the fact that there's money going towards a shelter in her sister's name. It's beautiful. There's a lot of stuff that Dieverune has been doing recently that just has caught my eye. I've got a few of their stuff in the past, really like them. There's a few things that I haven't gotten yet that I will get eventually. I'm just, again, trying to be a bit more smart with my money. Never follow me for financial advice. I am terrible for that sort of thing. But I think this is a really nice collection. Obviously, they have the other bits and pieces like those wet liners, etc. that we talked about last week. Beautiful. Just a really nice collection. There's also some face gems now, I will say. I'm not even going to show them to you. I think that's a bit unnecessary. I don't kind of get why that's a thing. However, I know that a lot of people use face gems. I use face gems in looks, but I tend to not go to like brands for that. I'm going to sound terrible. I'll go to like AliExpress and stuff because I'm like, it's cheaper. But hey, I'll like try and save money where I can. But this is an absolutely stunning collection. No notes. Keep it going. We then have Rhode Beauty. If you don't know Rhode Beauty, don't worry, I'm going to fill you in on it. Hailey Bieber, who is married to Justin Bieber, has her own Rhode skin line, and she's done like some skincare. Probably the biggest thing that she's done that people really enjoy are her peptide balms. I've heard lots of really good things about it, but she now has some stuff that's kind of veering a little bit more into makeup. This is the Contouring Lip Shaper, and it's available right now as you're watching. They are $24 each. They come mostly in neutral shades. There's two that are more pinky toned and the rest are more neutral shades. Over on the website right now, if you want, you can create a bundle of four, whatever four you like, and you can get that for $92. It doesn't save you much, it's only $4, but it's not bad. You guys know that I'm a little bit weird when it comes to lip liners. I'm on a constant journey trying to find the perfect taupey shade. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be in there, but hey, you know, eventually she can expand on the line, because I would be foolish enough to get it, like who cares. The kind of tagline that's coming along with this is, it's peptide lip shape combines soft focus color and high performance skincare to give your lips dimension. So basically the lip liner has skincare in it. We've heard it all now. I'm not saying I don't think that could help. Actually, it probably would. My friend Daniela was actually sharing a study with me the other day that shows that putting hyaluronic acid onto your lips helps to basically make them look better and appear better and be a little bit more plump. In which case I'm just like, okay, grand, I'm going to slather myself in hyaluronic acid. So I can kind of see why peptides would be good, and probably something like a lip liner, it has the ingredients in it to have it stay where you need it to stay. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of interested in this. It says it's a creamier and more seamless than a lip liner, which is interesting. I'm wondering, you know, will it give you a good clean line? Well, only time can say. It glides on to create a contoured effect and delivers efficacious ingredients that visibly enhance lip volume. Can I just say, well done on the word efficacious. I don't hear it anywhere near enough. I'm very happy about that. Creamy colour glides on for a contoured effect, clinically proven to enhance the appearance of lip fullness, helps lips feel smoother and more hydrated over time. Do you know what? Right? I feel like the price of $24 actually isn't bad. Maybe I've lost my mind. Who knows? But I've seen enough lip liners because I've been going on a journey, and that feels comparable to a lot of other lip liners at this point. Like, it's not bad. It does look like it's a twist up, so that does mean that it's not going to be suitable for every population. Like, obviously, for example, the likes of MUAs would much prefer a sharpenable one. Is it actually sharpenable? No, it doesn't seem to be sharpenable. They're not saying that it's sharpenable. That's a bit of a pity. Like, I feel like they've missed a little bit of a trick there. The shades, they look nice. You can see though there's room for a lot of extension, so maybe they're waiting to see how these play out. You know, they've gone for some pretty safe shades. Like, they've only kind of 2 pinky shades in there, but they're like neutral pink shades. The rest are very much like neutrals. But again, not enough cool toned ones, which makes me kind of sad. Like, all the neutrals there are very warm tone leaning. That's me having a little bit of a whinge. I like it though. I don't think it's bad. The price point isn't bad. If I find out how much product is in it, I'll let you know. I'll flash it on the screen right now. Enjoy editing, Teresa. Scurry, find that information for me, you little wench. Ooh, I'm a wench now. I don't hate this. And like I said, there's enough people that have kind of been saying her lip peptide stuff is actually really good. And I know I bring up my friend Daniela a lot, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I like her. It's a whole thing. But she raves about their lip peptide. She reckons it's really, really good. So if they're using the same sort of ingredients in that with these lip liners, this actually could be quite interesting. I'm not against it. The only negative that I'll say here is they're not very easy to purchase from. Like, I can't buy them via, say, Cult Beauty or whatever. I'd have to buy directly from their US retailer. And if I'm 100% honest, I just cannot be bothered with doing that. I'm sorry, I'm a lazy bee. I want to mess around with lip liners, but not enough to just go off and go onto a US site and get a really small, sad looking package that has like 2 lip liners in it. I don't know why, but that just makes me feel sad. But yeah, it's one I'm going to reserve judgment on. If it's easier to purchase from here, I might get it. Like, I'm not, you know, totally ruling it out. It's an interesting one. Then we have Glow Recipe. They have been adding to their niacinamide line for quite some time. They obviously came out with the Dewdrops quite some time ago. That was incredibly successful. Then they came out with the Bronze Hue Drops, which actually I'm wearing right now. I like it. Like, it looks nice. I love their niacinamide line. But they're now kind of going into more makeup-y stuff, which is kind of interesting. This is the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewy Flush Brightening Serum Blush. Oh my god, what a long title for a product. There's 2 shades at the moment. They're $25 and you get 12 mils in that. There's Watermelon Flush or Berry Flush. So I reckon they'll probably expand on the shade range over time. They're just going to see how popular this actually is, because even when it came to the Bronze Hue, they only came out with like a full size of it initially, and now they're coming out with like mini sizes because it ended up being quite popular. Obviously it has niacinamide in it, but there's also hyaluronic acid in it. They claim it's good for dryness and dark spots. Now, I personally love the Dewdrops. I use them all the time. It's either the Dewdrops or the Bronze Drops. At the moment I'm using the Bronze Drops just so I don't look like I'm dead, but I do have a little bit of a soft spot towards their niacinamide drops. Like, they're really nice. In terms of the highlighted ingredients, they say there's 3% niacinamide, which visibly brightens dark spots, improves texture and minimizes redness. There's also jojoba oil coated pigments, so keep that in mind if you've any allergies. Its non-comedogenic pigments create a naturally hydrated dewy flush of colour, which I personally like the sound of because you guys know I have dry skin. Yeah, be reminded of that weekly. I'll never stop stop talking about it. There's also watermelon extract and Centella Asiatica, which is deeply hydrating and plumps while calming redness. Yeah, I like the sound of it. Like $25 for 12 mils. Again, maybe I'm losing my mind. It doesn't feel like it's that bad. Like if I think about, say, Rare Beauty, yeah, you get slightly more product. It's just under 15 mils for about $28-ish. But I feel like I'd probably get more use out of this, and it has skincare ingredients in it. I like it. I do appreciate the fact that they have a deeper blush in there that'll work for like deeper skin tones. Obviously, I feel like the watermelon flush would work for me a little bit better. It's a very nice, soft sort of a flush. I like it. I do. I like it. I'm a little bit of a Glow Recipe hoe though. There's not really been anything that I've tried from Glow Recipe that I haven't kind of gone, yeah, I enjoy you. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. Oh, naughty Teresa. I won't say it's that I didn't enjoy it, but just I don't think that it was worth the price. And it was the lip mask, the Plum Hyaluronic Lip Mask. I just didn't feel like that was worth the money. I thought it was going to be a lot better. And I just ended up going back to my Laneige. I just preferred Laneige over time. That was one of the few ones that I was like, no, you just didn't do it for my Glow Recipe. I'm kind of surprised. Feel a little bit let down by you. But this, I don't know. I quite like the idea of this. I wonder, could I get away with wearing this without makeup on so that I look a little bit more fresh? Because I do like doing my skincare every day. I sometimes, you know, have a little bit of a la déprime, as the French would say, because it sounds much more sexy that way. A sexy French depression, and I just can't take care of myself properly. But I do try to do the skincare. And I think maybe this might be a nice little one to kind of, I am kind of talking myself into this. I don't need it. Tell me not to get it. Be my peep. I'm interested in this. I think it'll be nice. I do think that I would probably go a little bit overboard on it and just end up putting it all over my face. Because like, you know how you go into like that autopilot when you're putting on your skincare and you're like, wee, put it everywhere. I think I'd kind of half forget because it's in the same packaging. I know that that's probably a problem that's unique to me and not going to impact other people, but a lot of my life is on autopilot. So that's a little bit scary. Yeah, I like this. I'm definitely intrigued. I feel like the price point isn't bad. The ingredients sound nice. So yeah, I'll put it on my list to try at some point. So not a bad one. We then have Morphe, and this is actually available over on Ulta right now. They've come out with 2 new 9-pan palettes. They're apparently limited edition, and they're using their molten metal formula. So just before Christmas, I want to say around September, October, Morphe actually did 3 different 9-pan palettes, and they looked like they weren't much to talk about, but actually they were pretty darn good. They were actually strangely good. Like, I was surprised by them. And their formula is one that you can use dry, but you can also wet, particularly the one that's like the molten metal one, and you'll get a proper shimmer. So the 2 palettes that they have are basically that sort of formula. There's the Pulp Fantasy, which is the more purpley toned one, that's $15, and then there's the Forbidden Honey, which is the pink toned one, and that is $15. As I said, they're limited edition, so if you want to get it, you'd kind of want to get it sooner rather than later. Morphe's a funny one because obviously there's been a lot of issues with the way they've treated staff, etc. in the past, so I feel reluctant to kind of be like, oh my god, go and get these. Like, I'm not going to sit up here on a high horse and be like, you're a bad person if you go off and get these things. I do think it's important for people to have affordable brands that they can engage with. I have said this multiple times. I think that makeup, beauty, etc. should be something that everyone can engage in if that's what they want to engage in. I don't think that there should be some massive price tag associated with that. I think they look really, really pretty. They're very nice spring toned colours. I like kind of the purple palette. It has some like neutrals in there that are a little bit more cool toned. The pink palette is also nice. I can see how they'd kind of work together. The price point is pretty good. Like I said, the major thing that kind of stops me here is just the way they've treated people in the past. Like, the not so distant memory is they just suddenly closed a bunch of Morphe stores in the UK, didn't let people know. It was all a little bit of a disaster, and yet they seem to still be able to come out with more items, and I've seen them actually even the last couple of months coming out with more brushes, etc. And I'm kind of like, look, there's nothing wrong with having to close the store. I get it. Sometimes that happens, you know. Unfortunately, brands may not be performing in the way that they once were. My issue is not with that, but it's with not telling staff. Like, that's weird. That's putting your staff in a really shitty position. So I feel very weird about these things. Like, I do like them. I think the formula actually of the last 9 pans that I got was really, really nice. I'm just in a strange place with it as to how I feel about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks nice. Of course, obviously the swatches, you can't really tell because Morphe are the absolute worst for doing computer generated swatches. Like, what even is that? Like, you could tell that purple palette, the Pulp Fantasy, it's really nice, it's cool toned, etc. It does look nice. $15, it's not bad, but I'd like to actually like shove my fingers into it myself to see what the story is, because I mean, they've lied to us many times. The pink one, I feel like I've seen that kind of colour story from them a couple of times. But that being said, like, Morphe have done 5 million colour stories, so of course they're going to end up duping themselves at some point. I don't hate this. I don't. Like I said, I'm just in a weird space with it where I don't really know how I feel about the brand, because it's strange, because like, if you stop buying from them completely, then whoever is actually still being employed from them, they risk their jobs. Do you know what I mean? Because like, the people high up, the owners, etc., they're never going to take a cut to their profit. They're going to lay off the people down below. So often, like, protesting against a brand by boycotting their products doesn't actually hit the higher ups, who are the ones that make the crap decisions. It actually affects the people lower down. It's just, it's so nuanced. I'm afraid I'm sitting here and I don't have an answer. Like, I don't know. And obviously I don't ever want to tell you guys what to do. It's literally none of my business. What you choose to spend your money on, what I choose to spend my money on, whatever, it's nobody's business, right? At the end of the day, you just have to be happy with what you have, etc. But yeah, it's a funny one for me. I just have a lot of feelings on it, and I'm like, makeup shouldn't make me feel like this. I shouldn't be in strange ethical quandaries with myself. It's fine. It's just funny that not many people are talking about this. And I remember when Morphe was at its height. Do you remember when everyone was like, oh my God, use my code, James, for blah, blah, blah. And now nobody's talking about them. I actually think that their quality changed over the last while to actually be better, which is strange. But anyways, that's enough talk about Morphe. I feel like I've given them more time than I needed to. But yeah, let me know down below, like, what do you guys think? Are you in a similar position to me of kind of going, oh, I don't really know what the story is or how I feel about it? Because I feel a lot of things. And I don't know how to verbalize it, I think, is my major issue at this point. I need to kind of talk these things out to figure out exactly where I feel. And I don't want to talk about it too much in front of you guys, because that's just boring. Just me trying to parse out how I feel about things. That's how I come to decisions. It's just me talking to myself. Yeah, that's something you didn't need to know about me. But there you go. We then have a new collection to Jolie Beauty, and this is their Tainted collection. There's a lot in it, and it doesn't seem like they're doing any sort of a bundle, which kind of makes sense because some of these products just aren't going to work for certain people. I say this because they have like some skin complexion products, and obviously it's not a one size fits all. So there's a lot in this. There's the Tainted palette, which is €49.95. They claim it's a mixture of creamy mattes, metallic foiled glitters, and multi-chromes. They then have their Velvet Cream blush. There's 8 shades of that. They're €18.95 each, and they're a cream to powder formula. You get 6 grams of product in that. They have the Eternal Lip Stain that comes in 8 shades. They're €18.95 each, and you get 6 milliliters of product. There's a setting powder, and this is the one where I'm saying, like, I kind of get why they didn't kind of bulk everything together, because obviously you couldn't have all of them. That would be nuts, unless you're a makeup artist, in which case fair enough. But there's 8 shades of these, €20.95, 9 grams. But when you look at the products in terms of their ingredients, talc is the first ingredient, so that's kind of why the price point is a little bit lower. And finally, there's the Eternal Lip Liner. There's 10 shades of those, €12.95 each and 1.2 grams. So a lot in there. Let's talk about the eyeshadow palette first. I mean, it's fine. It's stuff that we've kind of seen before. Can I be 100% honest? Of course I can. This is my channel. I could do what I like. This feels like a larger version of Cosmic Beauty's Sinister palette. I do feel like this is giving you probably more bold colours, at least based upon these pictures, than maybe the Cosmic Beauty one, because Cosmic does a little bit more muted wearable. That being said though, I have seen this in the past where Jolie Beauty releases pictures and they look a certain way, and actually when you get it in reality it doesn't quite match up. So I'm reserving judgment on that. I don't know how much it's actually going to align. The swatches look quite nice. They're very vampy. Like I get it. It's nice. It's a very kind of traditional Valentine's Day thing. It looks nice. €50 for a pretty big palette. It's not bad. Like, how many shades are we talking about there? 28 pans. So it's not bad. I have a few things from Jolie Beauty. I do quite like them. I just feel like this is stuff that I have in my collection, and there's a couple of shades here that are probably a little bit too close to each other. Some of those reds probably would translate as being kind of similar on the eye, so I personally wouldn't go for it. The thing that I do like is actually the blushes. But do you know what really annoyed me? Let's be real. No swatches. Couldn't find any swatches, not even on the arm, nothing on the face, and these are all available right now. So I was like, oh, why is that not there? But some of those tones, absolutely gorgeous. The tones up on the top left hand side, those top two, oh my god, I love the look of those. I feel like I would wear the shit out of those. They're really, really nice. Can I also say the shade on the bottom right, what a gorgeous neutral blush. I think that is absolutely stunning. And they do say it's that cream to powder sort of formula, which I personally like. You're getting a decent amount of product in it. Again, I just want to know, what does it look like on the face? You know, is it like high pigment? Am I going to be trying to dull it down, or what's the story? I like those. Yeah, there's definitely some shades in there that I like more than others, but that is actually quite interesting. I'm going to say something contentious. I think they could have just done that and they didn't need to do the eyeshadow palette. Is that a bit much? Possibly. Who knows? Then there's the lip stains. Again, I feel like there's a couple of shades here that are kind of quite close to each other, and the little hearts that are up at the top, that's kind of the lip stain on and then the lip stain wiped off. So you can kind of see there's a few of those shades that they do look kind of similar to each other. They're not like quite duping each other, but you're going to get a similar effect. But they're fine. They're fine. They're not like a bad price either. I will say I got the Secheu lip stain, Secheu, based on a recommendation by Daniela. Yeah, and I thought that was really good. I'm not against this, but I feel like it's not necessarily for me. Then in terms of the powders, I'm a bit confused by this. Like, you have 8 powders here, but there's a few that are looking quite similar. It might be down to the lighting, but also then there's not enough deep ones. Do you know what I mean? It kind of like stops like at the medium range, and I'm like, you do know there's deeper. Like, what's the point of this? Like, is there pigment in it? There must be pigment in it because you're making it so that there's different shades. I do think it's, you know, it's fine. They've got talc in it. You get a fair amount of product. I don't care. I've said enough about it. I do like the lip liners though. And there's one in particular, and it's the third one. It's the middle one up at the top. That one is called Muted. I like the shade of that because it's slightly grey toned. But again, I don't necessarily trust their pictures. Can I just say, there's a shade over on the top right hand corner that you're looking at, and you're like, why is there no swatch? It's a black lip liner, and that's already sold out. That sold out really, really quickly. So I think that gives you a good idea as to the demographic of Jolie Beauty and what they're interested in. It's just such a massive collection. Now, Jolie Beauty have a tendency to do that anytime they come out with a collection. They don't just go, here's an eyeshadow palette. They're like, here's this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And personally, I get a little bit overwhelmed. I think they're very good quality, but when you don't have enough swatches of things like, you know, your blushes, etc., it just feels a bit, you know, all over the place. And even with the lip liners, you have to go into each, like, I hate the website. I just think it's terrible. You have to go into each one individually. Like, each product has its own page. So not like the group of products. It's not like I can click in on a lip liner and then do the drop down box to get all the different shades. I can only go into the lip liner of Muted, and then I have to go back to the main page again to find another one. Like, there's nothing where I can just toggle and compare. So I can't even compare the swatches as well as I might like. So I feel like that's not wildly helpful. Like, they don't have any comparisons there. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been really excited about this. I personally feel like they could have just really made this so much smaller. The eyeshadow palette feels very reminiscent of stuff that they've kind of done in the past. I'm not saying it's duping stuff that they've done, but I just feel it's one of those like deja vu palettes that I'm like, I feel like I've seen you before. I'm not saying it's directly the same as their Vampirism palette, but there's some kind of correlation there, like their sister palettes. I have enough stuff in my collection that I could dupe that. I do think they should have just come out with the blushes and maybe the lip liners. That could have been so beautiful. Like, I'm really showing that off. It's just a lot very, very fast. Maybe that's just me. It's just not for me. And that's all right. Apart from maybe that one lip liner and those blushes. But no, tell me, look in my eyes. Remind me, Teresa, you don't need more blushes. You only have 4 cheeks, 2 of which are actually made for blush. The other 2 are not fit for human eyes. So let's just limit what you're getting and not lose the absolute run of yourself. I'd love to know the people that were really excited about this Jolie beauty reveal. Did it meet your expectations, or do you feel a bit like, oh, it's not as cool as I was looking for, you know? Because I'm nosy, but you know, such is life. I'm excited about this. This is a sneak peek, and I'm going to say it right now. I love Dior beauty when it comes to their complexion products. I genuinely think they're absolutely stunning. I fucking hate the price tag. It's so expensive. I got a limited edition luminizer from them the other day, and it was €58, and I almost wanted to claw my eyes out, but also when I got it, I was like, no, I'm very happy about this. I do love this, and it's my baby, and I enjoy it, and sometimes I take it out and I cradle it at night. It's gorgeous. But they're actually adding a few more, and this is coming to the Asian market. So I don't know when it's coming to us, but all I can say is when it comes here, I will be grabbing some of these. This is apparently coming to Asia in March. So at the moment, we just have some information over on Trendmood. There's the Dior Skin Forever Glow Luminizer, and it has a gel-based powder highlighter that diffuses pure light with a high blend of fine micro pearls, innovative technology that melts into the skin, leaving glow, brightness that lasts all day in 5 shades. I can't even tell you how excited I am about that. Like, those shades, I know you're probably looking at them in the pan and going, Teresa, I'm not very impressed. That's fine. You don't have to get it. I'm very excited about this. Their highlights are the most beautiful thing in reality. Like, if you're interested in walking around outside in the real world, which is already traumatic enough, but you want to have a highlight that just makes you look delicious, it's these ones. I love them so much. I have all of their highlighters so far. I hate myself, but I absolutely love their highlighters. I just think they're one of my favorite highlighter formulas. I hate myself for it. I hate that I look at this and go, oh my god, I want this. Because like, what am I gonna have to do? Remortgage my house to get them? Like, it's ridiculous. I'm hoping that it'll be like a permanent collection and I can like gradually get some of these. If I have to triage and say which ones I'm gonna get first, I'm gonna go for that bluey toned one first, and then the pinky toned one, and then the more silvery one. And then after that, I can kind of relax and take my time. I am trying to do this in a more nuanced sort of a way. It looks absolutely stunning. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be about €58 per one, which is absolutely nauseating. Like, that's crazy. But also I'm an idiot, so I will go off and buy that. So don't talk to me about it. I hate myself for it. But yeah, I don't love the packaging on some of them. Some of them look a little bit like that silver packaging, and it kind of makes it look a bit, it reminds me, oh sorry, I'm so distracted. I'm so excited about this, but also like, oh god, the financial burden. I can't quite get it. I had a teacher in secondary school, and she taught us science, and she had these like silver space boots, and they were puffy and they went to your knees, and it's just reminding me of that. So I'm having flashbacks to secondary school, and I did not enjoy secondary school. I enjoyed the learning, I just didn't enjoy the people that I was with. But yeah, it's just funny because that kind of, I feel like it cheapens it a little bit. It doesn't make it look as luxe because their other packaging is just, it's so beautiful. Anyways, just take it for granted. I'll be getting it. If I have to sell your kidney, I'll do it, and I won't feel bad about it. So there you go. Then we have Glisten Cosmetics. They're adding in some new shades to their Spectra Lash collection. As I'm filming this, they haven't released it, but it's coming out on Friday, so you'll be able to get it. There's 4 stunning redhead shades, a cool toned blonde, 5 dreamy pastels, a dark green, and a maroon. So 12 new shades. I'm assuming it's going to be about €11.95 because that's kind of the price point of their existing ones. This is interesting. I've several friends who are redheads, and they often tell me how difficult it is to get mascara because they're like, black looks too harsh, and then brown, it's okay, and I just can't find a mascara that's going to be quite right. The fact that they actually have ones that are for redhead, I'm going to actually pick up one of them, I think, from my friend Maeve. Yeah, I'm going to use my code for money off. Also, my friend Daniela has a code. I'll have all of that down below if you do want to get any of these. Price point isn't bad. I quite like that green one. That's kind of interesting. I don't need them, but the price point is pretty good for a coloured mascara. They have a lot in this range at this point. Like, it is a bit like, oh my goodness. I'm assuming it's going to come to Beauty Bay as well, so if you're ever doing a little haul over there, you could pick it up there. Not a bad one. I'm not against it. The last thing that we're talking about is Klarity Kosmetics, and they have a lot of stuff that's actually coming out. Again, I'm affiliated with the brand. You can use my code Teresa, blah blah blah. Anyways, who cares? But they're doing this is their first kind of foray into more complexion stuff. Now, they've done like blushes, highlighters, etc. But now they're doing concealers, and they were kind of hinting at this for quite some time. And in addition to those concealers, they're also doing flawless skin setting powders. Now, they have actually said they're coming out February 7th at 12 p.m. CST. I don't know what the information is in terms of ingredients, but you know, there you go. The concealers, they're 18 different shades. They're going to retail for $18 each, and the owner has said that they're hoping to expand, and I get that, like, they're a small indie brand. They're not going to be able to have the most comprehensive stuff, but I feel like it's not bad either. It feels like they've got some undertones. There's always an issue though when it comes to concealers, foundations, etc. So many brands just can't cater to the varied undertones. It just is a thing. So I think they're waiting on additional feedback from people. And again, when you're a small brand, you can kind of do that. I feel like people don't get annoyed with you over that. And then there's setting powders. They're going to retail for $22 each. And my goodness, the shades that they have, like, there's pinks, there's like some greens, there's yellows, there's a lot in there. I don't know what the story is in terms of the ingredients, if it's like talc free, etc. I'm intrigued. I haven't gotten anything from Klarity in a while, not because I don't enjoy them, but again because taxes and duties, I don't want to be effing around with that. I'm excited to see that for them. Like, that's a big jump into that line of complexion. Now, I know that Deandra Nicole tends to do a lot of their photography, so I'll be really interested to see what she thinks of it, because I assume that she'll be getting quite a few of their bits and pieces in PR. I'm intrigued. I tend to be on little hunts for concealers and setting powders, etc. As if that's a thing to really hunt for. Can you imagine my ancestors are like, we used to hunt and gather for food, and now you're hunting and gathering for concealers? What's wrong with you? I mean, so many things. Let's not even get started on that. Yeah, the price point isn't bad. Like, $18 for a concealer, $22 for a powder. That's not bad. That's not bad. It'll be good for those of you who are in the States, because obviously you won't have to pay the taxes, shipping, blah blah blah, in the same way that I would. It's not a bad one. I'm for sure intrigued. I'm going to wait to see what some people think on that, because I'm a nosy bee and I like to see what the story is. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of the video. We talked about quite a few things. I thought initially it was going to be a fairly quiet episode, that I'd just be talking about cosmic brushes, but there were a few things that were kind of worth talking about. We had that little bit of an ethical, moral dilemma. I have at least one of them a week. But I do have my favourite comment, and this is from the gorgeous Godiva, who said, Teresa, biscuits and coffee. Oh, why didn't you invite me? Although I suppose technically I was there in spirit, but I like biscuits. I don't want coffee though, I just want tea, so if you could put on some tea for me, that'd be fantastic. I wasn't sure you would post today. Huzzah! You made it through the dreadful weather, hopefully intact. Oh my god, when I tell you, it was so hard to get releases and rants up last week. Like, we were without power. The fact that I managed to upload it, because broadband was so bad, like the upload speed was about 4 times slower than normal. It was so difficult. But yeah, thankfully everything was fine. Everyone I care about was grand, no major damage. The cats refused to leave the house. Thankfully there were litter boxes all over the place, so they were just like, yeah, we live inside now. Darcy was very disturbed by it all, so he needed a lot more comfort than I would have thought. But I mean, he tries to pretend he's a big brave boy, but we all know he's a big softie. He's currently actually in front of the fire right now, just being like, I'm so cute, I'm so sweet. But anyways, my friends, that's it. I also didn't manage to do a swatching Sundays last week, just because of the absolute ridiculousness of the weather. But I'm hoping that I will have finally got to the Beauty Moon Cosmetics Memoir palette, I've been very bad and very, like, people should not send me PR. I'm terrible. I just am dreadful with doing things. There's nothing other than my mood is not great, and sometimes doing the bare minimum is very difficult, but I will be doing that so that we can have a little gawk at that. Now, I did talk about that with my YouTube community members in a live a few weeks ago, so they've already seen what it looks like, but that will be for tomorrow, my friends. I will do that. I haven't filmed it yet, but it will happen. There, I've made an agreement. So if it isn't there tomorrow, oh my god, I'm going to be in such trouble. I won't, but you know, consequences. Ooh, it's the whole thing. Anyways, my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell just so you can see if there's anything else that I'm posting, because I do try to kind of give you little updates during the week if I find something that I literally just hop on. I'm like, and it's very disjointed, and sometimes I'm breathing heavily because I'm very excited. And buy the makeup, it's very unhealthy. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case just wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.